Hey everybody, we are actually in the eye wall of a slightly stronger Ada. It is unbelievably whipping here. We are crazy rain. I'm tucking the truck here perfectly.
Storm clouds moving in.
But man, I got some video footage. Crazy. Let me see if I can get outside. Let me see if I can. You just wouldn't believe how much rocking the truck is doing. Oh shit! Oh, crap. Lost my damn door on.
Then it's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way.
We're in the eye of Ada here in Key Largo.
It's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry.
Tremendous amount of
they try to hide.
wind coming in.
Just click on Mike's page. Drunk Donkey
Currently, I'm semi-protected here by my truck, so no worries. But
they don't understand.
semi-protected. I don't want to get the camera wet. And the trees beside me are completely sideways.
You want to know it first, and you want to know it right, and you want to have time to play.
I'm not sure what the gusts are, but definitely this is a tropical storm. I think we're seeing a little higher gusts.
Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm, if it's gonna be a hurricane.
I got the back turned right now and trying to keep the camera from getting wet. We're in Key Largo. We're in the eye of Ada.
Yeah, here in Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation
All right. I'm gonna look at.
All right. Good evening, everybody. We're back at it at night. I texted Shelly about an hour ago. She says, I'm ready. Got some big things happening today since our 11 o'clock live. We got a new little system out there called PTC, Potential Tropical Cyclone 16. It's not yet a real system, but it's expected to be soon. So something new they did years ago, they couldn't really ever issue watches or warnings until we had an actual system. Now they can issue watches and warnings before a system, so it gives everybody time to prepare. Say that twice. All right, so who am I? I'm Mike here. Mike's Weather Page, not official. I am not a meteorologist, just a hobby of mine, some dude with a website, and we're going to go over everything for you. It's our shortened version of what we do in the mornings. We do this every morning. We'll be live tomorrow at 9:19 Eastern. Got a lot of stuff to look at overnight. But I wanted to get everybody up to date. You know, that's what we do. Got a lot of people asking questions, so I'm going to kind of pretty much roll through it. What's brewing, what's cooking, what we could see, what might be happening, you know, and hopefully answer any questions y'all have. So I'm feeling a little bit better. Thank y'all. Shelly said she's feeling a little better. Had a big day today. I got everything done I needed to do. We'll say hi in the morning. Hey, everybody. I want to get right to it because I actually feel good. I don't want to lose my voice or start sniffing and coughing on everybody. I might get everybody sick. So anyway, holy moly, right? Look at that. Here's what we got. We were talking about this morning. There's an old frontal line that's was stalled for 4 days now off the coast of Florida, and these things have a habit of becoming spinach. We call them spinach. And we're seeing clear spin. It's definitely trying to get its act together. This morning it had a real nice low-level circulation. The NHC pegged it at 11, PTC 16. So there you go. That's what it looks like. Here's the latest chart. Came out at 5 o'clock. It is expected to be a storm. Remember all the talking points leading up to today. It said it might be subtropical. But now we're going to see a tropical storm. Winds expected to be 60 miles an hour. and it might be strengthening by landfall. Blue areas are tropical storm warnings, and these extend well into North Carolina northward towards Delaware. A lot of areas under a tropical storm warning. You're going to start seeing rain bands as early as tomorrow along the east coast as this system starts to spread northward. So tomorrow's the window of opportunity for this thing to try to develop, and there are signs it could be a little stronger than what they're saying. I'm going to show you all that. So don't turn your back on this one. Notice I said little stronger. I'm not hyping anything. But I do want to bring up one thing, though, real quick. This forecast discussion here shows this. Thought this was a little interesting. So if you look at the timestamps here, 60 mile an hour tropical storm, 60 mile an hour tropical storm. If you look at this here, this is 60 inland. So we've talked about this a lot over the years. These two little circles are 60 mile an hour. So the question mark, and they kind of tell you this, it could still be strengthening a little bit before landfall. That's always tricky. They don't tell you the landfall miles per hour. Not that it's a big deal. The effects aren't really that much different, but could be a little stronger than 60 before landfall, because we're going to be seeing 60 mile an hour winds pretty far inland. This thing's going to be strengthening on approach. So there's the current cone. New cone comes back out at 11 p.m. All right, spaghetti models, tropicaltidbits.com. These come out. The next batch will be out around 9 p.m. The 00Z suite. The black line is the official line, and it's quite a bit east of everybody else. So we might see a little tick more. There's the steering above. There's a little high pressure. Our system's going to bend a little bit. Talking about that bend again, like with Lee, right? It could turn a little bit more into the Carolina coast. We'll see if the NHC adjuster track a little bit to the west, but it's a big, broad system. I don't think landfall is going to be as big of a deal with this one, except if it gets down in those 980 range pressures, and we could have a tight little core, which could bring some surprise winds. So there's your latest models. There's a lot of rivers and stuff too that are pegged. I'm going to try to find those for you by the end here. So there's a lot of flooding potential problems ahead from inland flooding from rain. And then, you know, we've been talking a lot about this flow here too. I got graphics to show you, but the second side is we do have a lot of surge warnings out now, and we could see some high totals as this thing brings in those big winds from the east. So these key messages are, you know, nice. They kind of tell you what's going on. You know, life-threatening storm surge, tropical storm conditions, heavy rain. So these come out too. They're really good. They're like little key message points. I always like to share them. People like to read them, but it's on my website. Timing. Now, this is interesting. We can start to see tropical storm force winds as early as 2 p.m. on Friday now. That's tomorrow. This is the earliest you might start to see tropical storm force winds. Look at 8 a.m. all the way past Delaware on Saturday. So it's going to get going pretty fast. But tomorrow, Friday, we can see tropical storm force winds definitely well inland by Friday night. So this whole area right here, you know, Friday night, Friday afternoon, this is the first impact zone. So if you got any Friday night plans, you know, not looking very good, at least in the eastern part of North Carolina. So tomorrow, tropical storm force winds possible. And you might ask why? Well, because of the systems like right here. Why? Well, you can start to get these feeder bands. And even though a system, you know, could be here, you start to see rotation of these feeder bands way out ahead of a system. And you got to watch those, especially over that warm Gulf Stream. Waters are above normal, so tornado chances are definitely up than what they were earlier. I got an SPC map to show you here in a second. Your current rainfall thinking, that's quite a bit of rain. That's a lot more than Lee originally. We got 4 to 6 inches in the yellow. Couple spots in orange showing 6 to 10 inches. So heavy rain all the way to Richmond, Norfolk there, yellow. Yellow's 4 to 6 inches. Now that's you know, on average. The problem with a system like this, it's so big, and when you have spiraling bands coming in off of the Atlantic, you're going to have areas that are going to get a lot more because you're going to have this rain training as the line of storms is just going to come rotating in. So these are going to start tomorrow. And the good news is, draw a line right here. Most everything is gone by Sunday. So Sunday looks good. Sunday up here might be bad. So it's not an all weekend thing. North Carolina South looks pretty good for Sunday. Virginia North could be some rain on Sunday as this thing washes away with another front. Here's your flooding potential. We're seeing yellow. Not showing anything too bad yet. This is your chances of flash flooding. But notice these areas, up all the way to Long Island, New York, right? Parts of Delaware and Massachusetts. So yellow's, decent chance, and that does spread into Pennsylvania too, and all of New Jersey. So gonna get a lot of rain out of this thing. A little bit in South Carolina, not a lot. Same as this morning, just the tip of South Carolina. But there's gonna be some heavy rains tomorrow and Saturday for Carolina South, and then heavy rains Sunday as this thing goes north. Here's your surge map. So we got Chesapeake Bay 2 to 4, where they added 3 to 5 foot now for more areas, and that's the areas we got storm surge warnings now. 3 to 5 foot, and this does include tides. This is kind of like worst case scenario maps. I'm gonna blow my nose. Hang on. I did this earlier today. I didn't want to do it. There you go. I wanted to be polite and not blow my nose on the camera. So, hey, listen. When you got travel storm warnings, right? Schools are now probably closing, right? You guys are getting all these alerts. EOCs are activated. I mean, we got areas that you all know. Places that flood you're going to see pretty good impacts here. Albemarle Sound, 2 to 4 foot. Chesapeake Bay. A lot of people chiming in earlier on that. So, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to go, Kevin. Plus, I'm sick, so this one kind of popped up out of nowhere as far as timing goes. I would love to, Robert. Hey, I might. I don't know if I feel good this morning or tomorrow morning. And how about a raise? We're talking about. I told everybody only weather. We'll talk. We'll chit chat in the morning. So anyway, that's a pretty good surge, up to 5 foot in the yellow, some spots. So that's something to watch. The NHC on their website here, if you go to their any of my links that go to the NHC, they have a storm surge inundation, and this is basically what it is. This is based on current track and intensity. So all these little areas here, you can kind of follow along, see where you live. The islands aren't, or the barrier isn't showing anything too bad yet. There's Hatteras, so we'll see if these get updated. But if you're really curious about your specific locations, we got some yellow here popping a little bit, coastal areas. So this map's kind of hard. There's Chesapeake Bay, showing some areas. So this is more just do it yourself, and it's on my site. But obviously the main impact is going to be initially the Carolinas, or North Carolina. Here's that Storm Prediction Center map I was talking about. So dark green usually means we can have strong storms, possible tornadoes. Yellow, even more. So this is tomorrow, Friday. But anybody yellow, dark green, you're going to see rotating feeder bands coming in off that Atlantic. And look, we got yellow now. So there's probably going to be tornado watches tomorrow. And they are going to go into the night. Here's Saturday. It's a little bit to the north, but Friday into Friday night, overnight into Saturday, pretty much the same area. So this is definitely, Friday, Saturday, Carolinas are watching. All this starts to go a little more to the north on Sunday. But, decent little chance there, tornado. And I bet you we got a 5%. Let's take a look. I didn't even have that pulled up yet. But let's see here if we got a 5% for tomorrow. Yeah, we do. So usually when they introduce the yellow, it's a 5%, which almost guarantees you're going to have a tornado watch in that area. Let's see. Do I have anything else open? We're going to start looking at individual models. This last thing I wanted to show is the waves. All right. So this is the current wave map. This is Nigel going away. But as we get through tonight, early morning, look at these reds and the oranges. These are 20-foot C's out there. This is not surge, this is C's, but we're starting to see this. But look at the arrows. These arrows are pointing directly from the east. So that's definitely going to bring up really high surf, especially along Florida, into the Jacksonville area there, Brunswick, Savannah, tomorrow. So, when you wake up in the morning, this is, overnight, this thing's going to be bubbling some big waves tomorrow, Friday. But then we get into tomorrow more. Look at these, really getting some large waves here tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. And purple's like 30 foot, so expect big seas. Here is that other area that once this thing decides to make landfall, we're still going to have this to deal with. Very, very large waves Saturday, like right at OBX. That's 30, 40 foot seas just off the coast there. And this is on Saturday morning. And then all this area kind of goes to the north a little bit. And we had people talking about Virginia and northward. A lot of these big waves now are going to be impacting Jersey, Delaware, places that don't like surge. So hopefully it's not that bad. But you get the idea. This is Saturday afternoon. Big waves, Carolina northward. And again, red's 20-foot seas. So that is something to, then the area pulls on out of here and it gets a lot better on Sunday. So a couple days of intense waves there along the eastern seaboard. Something to definitely keep an eye on. And this is all based on the euro. The euro gets stronger, the waves get stronger. All right, so here's the individual models on the tropical tidbits. We got high resolution models. Let's jump right into those. Let's take a look at the H-Wharf. So we got the 12Z ran earlier. The 18Z has not run yet. All right, so the first run of the H-Wharf, pretty strong little system here. All right, here's tomorrow morning. Already seeing, it's hard to see, but we got coastline up here. But tomorrow morning, we're going to start to see this stuff starting to get into the Outer Banks. Who knows? Big part of the coast. Could be, Virginia too. Tomorrow morning, Friday morning. But watch the H-Wharf. H-Wharf's a really good intensity model, and I was really curious if it was going to go a little higher than the NHC thinks, and it did. It went to 986 with a 982, 981 potential landfall. So 982 is pretty low. Whether or not the winds catch up to that is the big question. What I've seen over the years, you can have pressures low. Sometimes the winds don't catch up in time. So this will be really interesting. I think that's why the NHC has 60 miles an hour winds, here, and then they have 60 mile an hour winds, let's say here. Like, what happens here is always a question mark. Does it intensify a little bit more? Does it get to category 1? We'll see. But anyway, 981 is pretty low pressure, and it maintains that pressure going up through the Carolinas. There's 986. So all this heavy rain. This is Saturday morning. So here is the initial bands. I'll rewind it here. Initial bands tomorrow morning. Landfall for all the models looks like sometime on Saturday morning. And as we go throughout the day on Saturday, we get these rains up through Virginia and possibly others. All right, so the other hurricane models, we got the HAFS model. Same thing, everything's the same, timing's the same. Here's your initial bands Friday morning. It's showing a pressure of 984. That's the Carolina border. So the track is really good. Track's all the models a little west of the NHC, but 984. HAFS B, 986. So all these are a little stronger than what the NHC is predicting. The Euro is a little higher, but notice the Euro 992. Remember the Euro yesterday was only in the 1,000 range, so it's gotten stronger every run. Latest GFS running now, 12Z, 994, 994. So all this is, it should make, it's pretty much locked in stone here, I think. The only big question marks is going to be the final strength of this thing, what it does tonight and in the morning. All of them are showing a pretty rapid intensification. I saw some discussion that, some are thinking we could see rapid intensification, outside possibility. Some of your intensity models here are actually showing Cat 1, only like 1. There was 2 earlier, but, just something to think about. I mean, none of the models are showing a 2. So, like I said, 70-mile-an-hour storm, 75-mile-an-hour storm. Other than a headline of a hurricane or tropical storm, the effects are the same. This is a big, large system. That's why the surge is a little higher maybe than other systems that are smaller. It's going to be pushing a lot of water, and we get a lot of rotation. We got a lot of winds coming in directly from the east. So that's definitely why the surge is something to watch here on the East Coast. And then same story. Let's go to Saturday morning right here. Look, all the models are showing this. Even though our system's like, off the coast still, big old surge of moisture coming in, and this is heading into areas north of Carolina, and they're all showing that same thing. So, and if we go to the whole East Coast here, just to kind of give you an idea, this is Saturday afternoon, starting to clear out in the Carolinas, but look at all this moisture now going to the New England area, and it could spread all the way to Maine. This is Sunday morning. So, it's starting to lose a punch. It ain't going to be that strong, over, as far north as it goes. But there's a lot of rain attached to this thing with that sheared frontal line kind of pulling and pushing it. Euro kind of doing the same thing. Look at this. Saturday morning, the low's way down here in Carolina, but look at this big surge way north, right? So that's all the moisture and stuff spreading to New England. There's that. So pretty consistent signature. Here's the GFS landfall Saturday morning. Big surge of moisture close to Long Island, actually, and the core kind of goes through there. So it does lose some pop as it gets through Sunday, but there could be some rain. Let's look at those river gauges. I see a lot of people sharing these river gauges. So we got some markers up here that are showing. Look at that, everything purple. So this is Virginia. Let me show you this. This is North Carolina state line right here. This is North Carolina, Virginia. And let me just, Pennsylvania. So here's PA. Here's North Carolina. And then here's VA. But look at these river markers. And a lot of them are at major flooding. And that's around, Delaware, Norfolk areas. So the water's high already. All these gauges. A lot of red, moderate flooding. Purple's the highest it can get. So, and unfortunately, that's where those big blobs are going with rain. So that could be adding to the coastal issues. Not only would you have surge, but you'd have inland flooding because of rivers. Some of your latest rainfall, like I said, we're showing. Usually this map's a little conservative, but you can see, 4 to 6 along that whole area right here in yellow. So this thing, gets a little stronger. Who knows? But that's that. Let's take a look at the water vapor. So the big thing about this system too, I know I've been sharing this a lot, but let's go back to tropical tidbits. But this is a very unique system because it's definitely bringing down dry air. So there's a lot of moisture out here with that front. You can see that moisture in the green. Big old moisture surge. But also on Saturday, you have this area here of nothing but dry air. So that's going to be odd because, parts of South Carolina are going to be crisp, cool, dry. And just a few miles over, you're going to be wet, moist, and undercover. So, yeah. So that's that in a nutshell. No big questions. Since you're here, I don't want to be mean, but that area now is Invest. Oh, by the way, it is Invest 90. I have updated the website and the app. Don't forget you can follow along all this stuff, Mike's Weather Page app. You can access the website for free and YouTube. Everything else you gotta subscribe. So don't download it if you. But it's easy access to the website. But you can see I got all these specific links. You hit PTCs and you got all the tracks and spaghetti models and stuff. So just so you know if you like apps or not. But anyway, here's the spaghetti models. Very deceiving right now. So the first batch of spaghetti isn't good. It never is good. But what is good is looking at ensembles, and the trend that I shared in the morning is still happening. Here's the latest 12Z 10-day suite. Now look, 10 days from now, every one of the 51 Euros are almost missing the islands. So that is great trending right there, right? We keep seeing that little tug to the north and then a curve back. And here's Bermuda. So far, everything's still looking like now Invest 90, which is this far wave right here. This is Invest 90 right here, in case you're curious. This is 90. So that's a good thing. The latest GFS ensembles that... The only reason I'm starting to look at the GFS a little more is because it did pretty good with Lee, so... Got to give it another chance. It's like we broke up and now we're kind of like getting back together again. Latest GFS, keeping that little bit of island watching, but again, a lot of them are curving. Timing's going to put it somewhere around here on Tuesday next week, somewhere right here. So if you're in the islands, timing's the same. About Tuesday, it could be getting close if it's going to go that far west and that far south. So far, Invest 90 looks like it's trending down. Long range, 15-day, really nothing's popping. It was great, right? Going into October, not really seeing much. We can take a look at Caribbean. And really nothing. Nothing. So that's good. All right. Taco Tuesday. It's Thursday. Taco Thursday. All right. So that's it in a nutshell. I'll say hi for a few minutes now, and then we're going to roll off. Blah behind Invest 90. Yeah, Lori, I saw that too. Anything that far out, really this time of year, once we start getting these cold fronts coming down, those have a hard time making it very far. So that is probably a trend that we're seeing. This one might be the last one that has a legitimate any chance, but the models are saying no chance. So I don't think Invest 90 is going to, definitely watching the Caribbean, Lesser Antilles for sure. Like I said, it could be there as early as Tuesday, but a lot, trends are your friends, and the trends are a tug and a pull. So, what's up, Chris? Yeah, I'm in, buddy. Rosie had tacos for dinner. That's awesome. How about the Rays? We're going to go to Chili's for a quickie. Oh, Delgado, what's up? Okay, Ian, that sounds good. See a lot of Carolina people. So, all right. Well. All right. And, yeah, sometimes trends aren't your friends. Chesapeake Bay always fills up with a northwest or northeast flow. Yeah, well, see, that's interesting because these winds are definitely going to be coming in possibly from the northeast, right? Oh, it was really zoomed in there. I was hoping it would mark it. But on Sunday here, Saturday, actually. I guess it's just all timing, you know. This is Saturday, 10 a.m. Showing some big wind gusts, that's for sure. This is the Euro, but according to the Euro, that's landfall. That'll be Saturday, 6 a.m. Beaufort. I know we got a lot of people in Beaufort. There's Ocracoke. That was, didn't Dorian really mess that up some, if I remember right? You guys had a lot of surge on the backside. So it definitely appears, whatever landfall is, it'll be early Saturday. But the effects are going to be starting tomorrow. So this thing's almost here. That's what's weird. So I don't know. Tomorrow's the day. I mean, it'll be one of them watching in real time. You know, it's going to have to get its little act together. Right now, it doesn't look all that healthy. But, you know, we've seen these little systems figure it out, especially over that warm Gulf Stream. Here's visible satellite as the sun goes down. You can see definite rotation, trying to get going. All these, you know, bands are starting to, you know, come together. Windy app showing low level circulation. Not too bad. A lot of wind shear out there. That's low level. There's a lot of wind shear to the north. That's going to add these winds. So this wind shear is definitely, you know, one thing that's going to keep it from developing is also going to keep a lot of wave action out ahead of it. 850 is pretty solid. That's 850 millibar. We had 0-500 earlier today. We still don't really. A little bit trying to get going, but 700 is not too bad. So it's trying. It's trying to get a little more of a structured setup here. But the big thing, of course, is tomorrow. It's like tomorrow morning. It's going to be close. I mean, tomorrow morning. You know, one thing about this system, there's no low. So the models are guessing, obviously, but the system's so broad that it's pretty much, the effects are going to be there no matter what. But we're going to see Friday morning, 5 a.m., some pretty hefty waves and winds already setting up here across the Outer Banks tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. That's like not even 12 hours from now. So things are definitely going to be going downhill. Some of these strong, you know, waves 4 p.m. tomorrow. Coming into Virginia and towards Jersey. It's tomorrow. Crazy, right? It's here. It's like, and here's Friday, 11 p.m. Big old winds up here in Virginia Beach. Remember, a lot of this tied in with that front and just the wind shear itself. So that's definitely adding to these totals. But it'll just all depend how quick it gets going tomorrow. You got to keep an eye on these higher resolution models, though. These HWRFs, and they've done a pretty good job in the past. So, not too sure how the surface winds are going to relate. As like I said, it takes time for the surface winds to develop, even though we have lowering pressures. We saw that with Nicole last year, but we saw a lot of coastal problems with Nicole last year. If you remember last year. Nicole, I think it was in 980s, and it never really officially became a hurricane, but we had those strong winds to the north, and it just really devastated the Florida East Coast because we had those strong winds to the north, kind of like what we see now. It popped over here for something I can't remember now. What was I looking at? Don't know. Let's take a look at some max wind gusts here. So we got starting to see big winds now starting to show up on the GFS. These are max wind gusts. But, hurricane force winds showing up here across parts of the Carolinas. Anything red, this is miles per hour. But Virginia, 40, 50 mile an hour winds. So, I have a feeling we're going to, same routine. A lot of power outages, a lot of rain, a lot of flooded grounds. We're going to see, 4 to 5 to 6 inches of rain. We're going to see 40, 50, 60 mile an hour wind gusts. Always almost guarantees you're going to get some sort of power outages. All right, well, we will be back live in the morning, really digesting things in the morning. Let's take a look at the latest wind gap, 10 meter winds here on 16. Zoom core, that's different. I never saw that. Oh, that's the core. That's interesting. All right, so here is the latest H-Wharf. 48 knots, not hurricane force. Good news. 986 pressure. Radar, well, that's kind of hard to look at, but we're going to see some definite bands in the morning when you wake up. There are going to be some heavy bands, and you can see that with the HRR too. So these feeder bands are always what you got to watch. And like I said, they're going to, days like tomorrow, you got to pay attention to your radar as we get these bands rolling in. But as we get to even overnight tonight, like 3 and 4 in the morning, we can start to see some of these reaching the Carolina coast. This is 3 in the morning tonight. But then we get the rough stuff. Here's 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. You can see these bands throughout the day tomorrow, strong, coming up off that Atlantic, all the way to North Carolina up into Virginia now. And this is something to note too. We're still seeing some of this energy tagging along down here. So South Florida is going to be a little tricky tomorrow. You're going to have some storms kind of laying around. Look at these storms tomorrow night. Big storms down in South Florida overnight Saturday or Friday into Saturday. But that's what it looks like. Ophelia. I see you, Ophelia. Be interested day of watching weather tomorrow. As always. Joanne, I don't know what made me like meteorology. You're like me, I can't spell it. That's why I didn't become one. Beaufort. I know it's not Beaufort. Oh, we got 2 people correcting me. Beaufort. Hey, Beaufort. It's Beaufort. What are you talking about? I see Beaufort. You say Beaufort. Lynette, yeah, the models did shift a little west. But see, this system's deceiving because it's got such a large moisture field. It's going to have a lot of moisture and storms way north of center. You're going to have 2 parts of the storm. You're going to have that tight core where the big winds are. And then you're going to have a secondary area of the big blob of rains and storms are going to be coming up north of it. So it does affect who gets what, but it doesn't change like things that drastic other than people might get a little more to the west, but it won't affect who gets more to the east. Have a good night, Melissa. Thanks. Good surf. Yeah, Melissa, you're right. Beaufort. Okay. How I would say Beaufort. Darren Dawson. Good morning or good night. Tomato. You say tornadoes. I say tomatoes. Ophelia's next. Hey, then we got Felipe out there in the far Atlantic. Yes, Hurricane Hugo. Oh my goodness. Maryland just brought up. Yep, I saw a lot of people showing that. All right, well, I hope I got everybody up to date on the latest. Nothing really changed other than, Nothing. We have storm surge warnings now. Little more storm surge in 11. 3 to 5 foot in a lot of areas now. It's quite a bit. 5 feet. Heck, 1 feet's bad. But 3 to 5 feet some areas. So that's listed on an NHC site. So there you go. All right, so we'll see everybody in the morning, 9:19 Eastern. We'll be doing it live again Friday, and we'll keep everybody up to date what's going on. All right. Curious little guy, homegrown action, right? All right, have a great evening, everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.